Hey guys, so first of all, hi again. It's been a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of catch you guys up on what I've been up to and kind of stuff like that. So, yeah, as you can tell, most of my throat's back. I do still cough once in a while, but like it's kind of just the congestion from this cold that I'm getting over. So like, yeah, I sound like a little like meh. But overall, I'm good. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm healthy. I'm going to talk to you guys about a date that I had and where that's going, but also things that stood out with me with this person comparing to my last relationship, two of them. I have not been very active as far as dating goes, just because a lot of dating in general, I was always very, very picky in who I wanted. I wanted somebody to really connect with. And my first relationship, I kind of just tried to go for it, and I didn't really put much thought into it. I was really young at the time, and so like it had a lot of complications. My last relationship was after I came out, but before I started HRT. So it was a very short relationship just based on things that happened due towards their situation with like dealing with, being with somebody who was transgender and everything like that. So it was hard for her. But no disrespect or no shade to either of the other two people I dated. But I'm going to talk now about this person who I went on a date with and who we're going to go on another date sometime this week that we're trying to figure out right now. So, what sets her apart? Well, first of all, it's the fact that, oh, and obviously again, her. So, yeah. Anyways, so what sets her apart? The first thing has to be the fact of how understanding she is and how polite and respectful she is towards my situation as somebody who's transgender. So she is cisgender. However, she has a friend where he is a trans man. So she is a little bit like, she's a little bit used to that situation of knowing somebody who's transgender, but there are a lot of differences between like a trans man and a trans woman. And again, as I say in just about every video I talk about, every trans person's different because our interests are different, our hobbies are different, everything like that. Just like every cisgender person is different. You might find similarities where, oh, this person likes the same hobbies, or this person and this person like the same author or game or music or whatever. But overall, their experiences, everything like that, that's different. So she is already used to understanding a little bit about somebody who's transgender. So that's part of it. But she's also understanding in the fact that the first date, we talked for 7 hours. And like every time I've talked with people about this, they're like, that's so sweet. And like I've also talked with people and they're like, that's so long. Like, how did you talk for 7 hours? There's a lot to talk about. First of all, you're getting to know somebody that you're really interested in. Like, I'm super interested in her. And I mean, she says she's interested in me. And I guess like 7 hours of conversation, that does it. But a lot of those questions she ended up asking based on like my desire for like what surgeries I was looking for, how long I've been on HRT, different things that happen to me when I'm on HRT. She was curious as far as like all of the physical changes. She was like, oh, so like how does this work? How does this work? And so I'm like answering these questions and we were just like talking freely about it. She's like, every time she's asking one of these questions, though, she's giving like a gap where she's saying like, hey, if you don't feel comfortable answering this, or if I'm asking too personal of questions, you don't have to answer. It's cool. I just want to know. And that is amazing in a partner. I've never had that before with friends or family or anything. I've never had somebody who's asking me questions to give me that gap where they're like, hey, if this is uncomfortable, if this is too much, if I'm being rude about this, just let me know. She's very conscious on what she says to me, and she doesn't want to come off rude or ignorant or anything like that. And that's amazing. And that's definitely something that I think everyone should look for in a partner if you're transgender, is somebody who is very conscious of your feelings and what you're going through. I think even in like a cisgender relationship, that's really good. But for me, like, especially in a transgender relationship, I feel like that's very important, because there are a lot of things that are uncomfortable for me to talk about, and there are a lot of things that I get nervous or I get shy with when I'm discussing them. Some stuff I kind of have to like get over that, because I talk about some stuff here on like these videos, but like more in-depth, like super personal stuff is still like difficult for me to talk about. So like I'm not gonna do videos on that stuff for like a while. But yeah, so having somebody who's super understanding towards you and what you're doing, that's number one, especially for me. Somebody also with her, she's very slow with everything. She's the first relationship that I've been in where I don't feel like they're at like, it doesn't feel like she's up here and I'm down here and I'm like trying to catch myself up. She's like, she's got more relationship experience than me, and she's like kind of pulling it down and being like, your speed, what do we want to do? Like, what's comfortable for you? How do you want to do this? And I have never had that. And I don't know if that's everyone, but that's definitely for me. And so I'm kind of like using that as like a bullet point. But yeah, so having somebody who is willing to move the relationship at a pace that you're comfortable with. I'm the type of person in a relationship where up to an extent, I will try to push myself to do things for my partner to make them happy. So like, and again, this is up to an extent. There's certain things that I will not do until I am ready. But for a large part of that stuff, especially in my other relationships, I was almost pushing myself in some things just to try to make them happy, because I know that they were waiting a while, that they wanted to do this stuff, and I'm like, okay, you know, maybe like I'll try it, like I'll go for it. But with her, I don't feel like that. And like, yeah, okay, it was like one date, but we've been talking for a while before the date, and we're still talking. And like, even with my other two relationships, that first date, I always felt like I have to catch up. I always feel like I'm like dragging behind. And it's a very weird feeling to feel in a relationship where I almost would be feeling like I'm dragging my partner down. And that's obviously not a good mindset to have in a relationship, is that you're dragging that person down. You guys should both be building each other up. And so yeah, that's why with with um with this girl, it's the way that it is for me. It makes me feel comfortable, it makes me feel happy. So another thing that she does is she just makes me feel incredibly comfortable. And this one is a little bit difficult, where it's kind of like everything about her. It's the way she talks to me, it's the questions she asks me, how she asks them. So it's kind of like the first point. It's also the pacing of the relationship, so kind of like the second point. But it's also just a general, like a general feeling that she gives off. Is it's a very understanding, it's a very calm, it's a very soothing feeling. And for somebody like me, where I have my mind on like 30,000 different things, and I feel like sometimes I'm gonna go crazy with all of the stuff that I think about, having somebody like that where it's like relaxing is amazing. And like, I just feel comfortable even if we're just like sitting in the same like car. Like, I feel comfortable just holding her hand. And that's something that I haven't experienced as strongly as I have with this girl. And yeah, it's really crazy thinking about all this stuff and talking about it and being like, wow, like, it's amazing how these things feel so or sound so simple, but that they can make the world to somebody. Like, I'm always very picky about who I go out with, who I date, everything like that. I have very strict criterias. I have very strict, like, guidelines. I never want to feel like I'm settling on somebody, and I never want to feel like the person I'm dating doesn't have their own individual types of like goals or aspirations, or at the very least doesn't want to support mine. And so even with me narrowing my pool of dating that far down, the other two relationships that I've had up to this one are very different. And different in a good way. It's not that the other two were outright terrible. They were learning experiences. The first one, I wasn't sure about myself. It was before I even knew that I was a woman. I just tried this relationship as a guy. So I was basically someone I wasn't. And that was just a really rough relationship for me for that, and then amongst other things. But then my last relationship, there were similar qualities where like the support, the understanding, like I understand what you're trying to go like what you're doing and everything like that, and I want to be there for you. Both my ex and this new girl, both of them have that quality. And that's why that quality is so important when you're dating somebody as somebody who's transgender. But again, this girl just takes it up like 12 extra levels for me as far as comfort and things of that nature. So yeah, like, I will probably keep doing videos like talking about it and everything like that as things go on. I am definitely hoping one of these days to have her on for like one or two videos and stuff like that, and like talk with her about stuff. But yeah, it's a very nice feeling to have. And it just makes me happy. And that's also really good with the relationship. You want the relationship to make you happy. Outside of just being like talking with the person or like doing something with the person, just knowing that they're there, like knowing that she's like, right now she's asleep because she like sleeps in and I'm not. I wake up early. I'm like super early and everything like that. So she sleeps in a little bit, and like I know she's sleeping, and it's just like that's fine. I like texted her a good morning and everything like that, and like I got myself ready for work, and it's nice. It's a nice feeling, and I can't express that enough. Of like a healthy relationship is proper communication, understanding, tolerance, acceptance, and like tolerance is in like not in the sense that like they attack you and abuse you and you're like, I guess it's because you love me. No, 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 no. Tolerance is in like, well, I guess I'm putting like tolerance and acceptance hand in hand, which is so acceptance over tolerance. So acceptance, understanding, appreciation for the other person, all of these things are amazing, and they sound so simple, but they're so important. And to anyone watching this who maybe you have your mind on somebody who's like transgender or anything like that, like they might feel the same way about you, and maybe if you're fitting all of these criteria for them, this is what they're feeling, because it's certainly what I'm feeling for this girl. But anyways, I think I've like gone on enough about this. This isn't like so much as like an educational one as it's like just me talking about my life. But anyways, thank you guys so much, and you guys have a great day, okay? Like, take it easy. It's Sunday, so like, have fun, I guess. A lot of people don't like Sundays. Some people like Sundays. I don't know. I like most days. So have a good day. Take it easy, and bye-bye.